All right, episode 72 of True Sports is underway. I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenor. The MLB trade deadline is a week away, and
Hmm.
and there are suitors for Shohei Ohtani, of course, as we have read. So, Louis, any thoughts?
Well, there aren't a lot of teams available that want to trade him. The Yankees are going to say no. The Red Sox will say no. Most of them. Um, I did hear a rumor that maybe the Dodgers might try to go after him, but I also heard that the Phillies are seeking interest. After all, he is an East Coaster. That's his hometown. So I'm thinking maybe it's going to be the Phillies that are going to try to get him in for the stretch run of the season. But it's going to be a big loss for the Angels because all you have left is Mike Trout, and if Otani goes, what are they going to do about Trout? Are they going to keep him or are they going to ship him out? So, got a very interesting development with both players, and this could send the Angels season right down the tubes. So, it's going to be a very interesting next week and a half.
Yeah. So we'll keep our eyes on things like that, and then
Yeah.
it's that time of year in the off season where in practice uh, well, the NFL offseason, some players get injured, but luckily for C.J. Gardner Johnson, his knee injury was not serious,
Yeah, I was reading that
according to the
earlier.
MRI. Some
I,
Lions fans were overreacting
yeah.
on
Well,
Facebook and
first,
Twitter.
first they didn't know how serious it's going to be, and they thought it was going to be like a season injury. But then our reports later came that it was not to be serious at all. So he's doing well. So thank goodness for that.
Yeah, and Hendon Hooker has already been recovering from his torn ACL.
Oof.
Marvin Jones has already been recovering from his injury. Emmanuel Mosley as well on the PUP list. They're all gonna be back really soon. So that's why Lions fans should not panic at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean they had something to build on from last season because they had a better season than they had in years, and I thought coming into the season they had something to build on. So with all those injuries, I thought, well, this could really dampen their hopes. But now since they'll be back for well, maybe not at the start of the first preseason game, but soon after. So it looks like Detroit is going to be picking up where it left off.
Yep,
Maybe.
yep. And USA Today projects them to finish 11-6 and win the NFC North Division. Of course, with all the other three teams in the NFC North Division, all each to finish 7-10.
Eh,
Yeah, I shared that on my story on Instagram and
Yeah,
on Facebook. You, you need to take a look.
yeah. I know that some divisions can be really awful, and well, NFC certainly has not been much to cheer about in, of course, recent years. No offense, because my brother was a Bears fan, and well, horrible.
Yeah, the Bears are still trying to rebuild. The Packers are rebuilding after Aaron Rodgers left.
Mm,
They'll have to settle with Jordan Love at quarterback,
right.
and and of course the Vikings coming off as NFC North champions from last season. I wonder why the Vikings were projected by USA Today to finish 7-10, particularly because
Well, I don't. Yeah.
I thought the Vikings were one of the favorites to win the division along with the Lions.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't trust USA Today's predictions. I mean, that's not really a big sports outlet. I go to like sources like ESPN, the Sporting News, and all that because I think they're more accurate. USA Today is not really much of a sports publication, so I really don't trust their prediction rankings at all. I
What
really
about
don't.
Bleacher Report? Have you ever tried that?
Bleacher Reports, yeah, I think it's more believable than USA Today. I don't think of USA Today as much of a sports outlet.
How can you compare Bleacher Report to ESPN and the Sporting News combined?
Well, I guess because I'm more used to them, because I've been following them since my youth, and Bleacher Reports, just stumbled onto, with through other people. But my primary source has been like ESPN and the Sporting News because I've been following that since I was like 10.
Mm. Yep. Back in those old days, huh?
Yes. Well, I'm not that young anymore.
Right.
Thanks.
All right. Well, that's all for me. So it's time for your true sports report. Go ahead.
All right, away we go. We got some late night baseball action. Okay, in the bottom of the seventh, the Cardinals are leading the D-backs 5-4 with a run on first and one out. Romero is pitching and Guerrero Jr. is at bat. In the bottom of the sixth, the Pirates lead the Padres 8-3. One out, one on. Murphy is at bat. Conway is
Think you're cutting in and out.
tied at 2
There we go.
with the runner on first and 2 outs. Barrios is pitching and Smith is at bat. All the rest, excuse me for why I mute this thing. I hate when I get these sound bites. There we go. Up. Here we go. Okay, the Blue Jays and Dodgers are tied at 2 in the, as I said, all the rest are final. Your Tigers over the Giants 5-1. Sabuki got the win. Stripling got the loss. That was a make-up game from April 16th. I was wondering whether they were playing after a game on a Monday. Now I know why.
Yeah, 3 months
Okay.
in the making, huh? Wow.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was worth the wait. Okay. Orioles over the Phillies 3-2. Baker got the win. Kimbrel got the loss, and Perez got the save. The Rockies over the Nationals 10-6. Kaufman got the win, and Corbin got the loss. The Royals over the Guardians. 5-3. Yarbrough got the win. Allen got the loss, and Barlow got the save. I can't get used to saying Guardians. I still think of it as the Indians. Sorry. Twins over the Mariners 4-3 and 10. Lopez got the win. Sewald got the loss. Brewers over the Reds 3-2. Williams got the win. And Diaz got the loss. Just win final. Astros over the Rangers 10-9. Presley got the win, and Speeds got the loss. Presley, that was his fourth cousin. No, just kidding. Okay, so let's take a look at the. Yeah, we'll do the schedule first, since tomorrow is a full day of baseball action, and it goes like this. 3 games will start at 6:40. The Angels will take on your Tigers. The Orioles will take on the Phillies, and the Marlins take on the Rays. 7:05. Rockies take on the Nationals. The Battle of New York with the Yankees and the Mets. 7:10. The Braves take on the Red Sox. The Royals take on the Guardians. 7:40. The Mariners take on the Twins. Few 8-10 games here as the Cubs take on the White Sox. The Reds take on the Brewers. And the Rangers take on the Astros. It must be rivalry week. Okay. Cardinals take on the Astros at 9:40, also along with the Pirates and the Padres. Shortly after that, at 9:45, the A's take on the Giants, and at 10:10, the Blue Jays once again take on the Dodgers. All right, so now we're getting into the thick of the season here. Let's check the standings because now they become more important. Who would have thought, though, that the Orioles would be in first place, this year after starting the season at 8-7, and look what they've done now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they are still in first place now at 62-38. The Rays, who started the season 15-0, are now 61-42, 2.5 back. I don't believe it. The Blue Jays are 55-45, 7 back, respectable. And the Red Sox and the Yankees are tied for last at 53-47, 9 back. Last place, but yet respectable. I mean, if you're in last place with a winning record, it's not that terrible. Okay, to the Comedy Central. All right, well, the Twins are a decent team at 54-48, 4 games ahead of the Guardians at 49-51. Yeah. Tigers 46-54, 7 back. Sorry. White Sox
That's not that
41-60.
terrible.
No, White Sox 41-60, 12.5 back, and bringing up the rear as they have been all season. The Royals are 29-73, 25 back. Boy. All right. To the West, the Rangers 59-42. Their in-state rivals, the Astros 57-44, 2 back. The Angels 51-49, 7.5 back. The Mariners 50-50 at 8.5 back. It's a 50-50 deal. And last as usual, the A's are a miserable, pathetic 28-74, 31.5 back. Your season's over. To the National League, Braves keep pouring it on. 64-34, have an 11.5 game lead over the Marlins at 54-47. Yeah, okay, not bad. The Phillies 53-47, 12 back. The Mets 46-53, 18.5 back. And the Nationals 41-59, 24 back. Oh boy. The Central, Brewers 56-45, a game and a half ahead of the Reds at 55-47. The Cubs, they're making some strides. They're still below 500, but it's now at 48-51, 7 back. Doable, somewhat. The Cardinals 44-56, they're 11.5 back, and the Pirates are 43-56, 12 back. What a disappointment they are now, and they're starting the season off so well. I don't know what to tell you. To the West, Dodgers 57-41, 4 ahead of the D-backs at 54-46. The Giants 54-47, 4.5 back. Further down the list, Padres are 42-10 back, and the Rockies 40-60, 18 back. No. Odds are hot, and you're not. You're not. All right, we got some soccer action. Right now, in the 73rd minute, Colombia is leading South Korea 2-0 in the Women's World Cup. That's the only game that's in progress right now. Everything else ended early today. I do mean early. Italy beat Argentina 1-0. Thank you. Germany clobbered Morocco 6-0, and Brazil beat up on Panama 4-0. Okay, and the game is going to underway early tomorrow again, and it goes like this. We'll get to the 25th tomorrow. Well, not too much after this game. New Zealand will take on the Philippines at 1 a.m. and Switzerland takes on Norway at 4 a.m. And those are the only games tomorrow in the Women's World Cup. These times are ridiculous. I know it's a big time difference between here in New Zealand and Australia, but come on. 1:30 a.m. and 4 a.m. Well, if you're an insomniac, that's one thing, but still. I mean, just ridiculous. Okay, so now we go on to the news item of the day. First up, USA Basketball named 14 players to the select team today that will serve as the opponent for Team USA during its upcoming training camp for the FIBA World Cup, plus proving ground for future national team slots. The select team is stacked with recent top draft picks who are seen as the next generation of Team USA Basketball and will be coached by Jamal Mosley, the head coach of the Orlando the Magic, and the training camp will be held in Las Vegas from August 3rd to August 6th. Cade Cunningham, the top draft pick of 2021, who missed all of last season, the Pistons due to a shin injury, should be ready for camp. Chet Holmgren, number 2 pick from the Thunder, who missed all last season but returned for summer league games, will play alongside teammate or former team Jalen Williams, who finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting. Also for the 2022 draft classes, Keegan Murray of the Sacramento Kings and Jalen Duren of your Detroit Pistons. Third-year players, Trey Murray and Herb Jones of the Pelicans, Jalen Green of the Rockets, and Quentin Grimes of the Knicks will all take part in camp. Fourth-year veterans, Peyton Pritchard of the Celtics, and Naz Reid of the Timberwolves will also play. Any of this group would be a strong candidate to be promoted to first team if needed, which has happened in the past. Okay, Nuggets star player, the Joker, will not play for the Siberian national team in the FIBA World Cup tournament next month as he rests from the Nuggets' extended postseason run. Jokic, who is coming off a season where he played a total of 89 games, that includes playoffs, and got in with their first title. Since the 2019-2020 pandemic season, Jokic, the two-time MVP, has played in 288 games. That's ninth overall in that time frame. Jokic has played for the Siberian national team 3 times since entering the NBA. During the 2016 and 19 World Cups and last summer's Eurobasket tournament. This year's World Cup begins on August 25th throughout the continent of Asia. The tournament will produce 7 berths for next summer's Olympics in Paris. Okay, Dallas Stars manager Jim Nill signed a 2-year extension just a month after being named General Manager of the Year, following the Stars' run to the Western Conference Finals. The deal, which was announced today, will keep Nill with the Stars through the 25-26 season. He hopes to work out a succession plan with owner Tom Gagliardi.
We have a commenter on Twitch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Valvez
Yeah.
BTW. Hey,
Oh.
hey, how you doing?
Oh, Nill finished his 10th season, which ended with a Game 6 loss to the Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals, who eventually went on to win the Stanley Cup. The Stars reached the 2020 Stanley Cup Finals in the playoff bubble in Canada, but lost the Lightning in 6 games. Under Nill, the Stars have reached the postseason 6 times. Jim has proven to be one of the best general managers in the league, said Gagliardi. He has built a team through free agency, trades, and, of course, the draft. That is among the best in the league, while also ensuring the Stars are champion contenders for years to come. Highlight of Nill's tenure came in 2017 when they got defenseman Miro Heiskanen and goaltender Jake Oettinger in the first round and Jason Robertson in the second round. Nill's top the move in free agency when he added the addition of forward Joe Pavelski in 2019. Very good move right there. He was a staple at the top line and scored his 1,000th point late in the season. Pavelski, that is. All right, Maple Leafs goaltender Ilya Samsonov was awarded a 1-year deal worth $3.5 million in an arbitration decision yesterday. Samsonov was vying for a $4.9 million at the hearing on Friday, when Leafs submitted $2.4 million. Samsonov finished with a 27-10-5 record with 4 shutouts and a goals against average of 2.33 and a save percentage of 9.19 in his first season in Toronto. He signed with the Leafs about a year ago at the same time, after 3 seasons with the Capitals, who selected the Russian native in the first round of the 2015 draft. Leafs advanced past the first round of the playoffs as they beat the Lightning, but lost to the second round of the Panthers quickly in round 2. Overall, Samsonov is 79-32-10 with 4 shutouts and a goals against average of 2.65 and a save percentage of 9.08 in 131 games with Washington and the Leafs, and included 119 starts. Okay, now here's something rather interesting. Minnesota Timberwolves forward Kyle Anderson is now a citizen of China through the naturalization of the Chinese Basketball Association that was announced today. The forward from New York is the latest elite player to gain Chinese nationality and the first NBA player to do so. Anderson obtained citizenship today and met Yao Ming, the chairman of the Chinese Basketball Association, the CBA said in a post in his official Weibo account. Citizenship could allow Anderson to play for China at next month's FIBA World Tournament and next year's Olympics in Paris. Now, FIBA allows one naturalized player on the roster. The Chinese media reported that Anderson's... Now, here's where it gets interesting. His maternal grandmother was born in Jamaica to a Jamaican mother and a Chinese father. Now I understand that he's a natural citizen because his father was born there. I was trying to figure it out earlier. China has announced an 18-member squad for the World Cup. However, FIBA said the final rosters will be confirmed only after a meeting that is set to take place before the tournament. So stay tuned. So now I understand the natural citizenship. Okay. The Board of Governors of the NBA have approved the sale of the Charlotte Hornets to a group led by Rick Schnell and Gabe Plotkin. That clears the way to end Michael Jordan's tenure as the majority owner after 13 years, sources told ESPN yesterday. The Board of Governors vote was nearly unanimous by the vote 29-1 to approve the sale, only to be denied by anybody want to take a guess who was the one that let it down? James Dolan, New York Knicks owner. Oh, what a surprise. The complete sale, purchased at around $3 billion, will be executed within about 1 to 2 weeks. Schnell, who was a minority owner of the Atlanta Hawks, and Plotkin was a minority owner of the Hornets, will become the franchise governors. Jordan, though, will still have a minority stake in the Hornets. Of course, James Dolan was the one to turn it down. He's it. Okay. After American golfer Brian Hartman has opening tee shot in the final round at the Open, someone in the grandstands shouted, "Hit it in the bunkers!" When Hartman, who came into the final round with a 5-stroke lead, approached shot right on the green, there was an audible cheer from the crowd. After Hartman grabbed a 5-stroke lead, shooting a 67 in the second round on Friday, it seemed all like if Great Britain wanted anyone to win but him. Oh boy. Anyone but Hartman. Hartman, ranked 26th in the world, finished his run at Liverpool by carding 1 under 70 into the final round yesterday to win the Claret Jug Award trophy, finishing with a 271 over 4 rounds and 6 strokes ahead of a logjam for second, which included Tom Kim, Sepp Straka, John Ram, and Jason Day. All finished at 6 under. Hartman's 6-stroke victory is the largest margin victory, won by a wider margin of 8 in the 2000 opener at St. Andrews. Hartman is the oldest player to win his first major since Sergio Garcia did that back in 2017 at the age of 37. Hartman is 36, and he got $3 million for his win at the British Open. Oh, at 36 and 37 is really old. Come on. Was that old? Well. Okay. I know we don't do much about swimming, but I found this article interesting. French swimmer Leon Michaud set a new record in the men's 400-meter relay yesterday, breaking the last individual mark record set by Michael Phelps during his phenomenal run. Manchar cruised to the gold medal in 4 minutes, 2 minutes 50 seconds at the World Championships in Southwest Japan that broke the long-standing mark of 4 minutes and 3 seconds held by Phelps at the 2008 Olympics. Phelps has held individual records in 5 different races. He still holds records in the 4x100 meter and the 4x200 meter relays. But that may be broken soon too. Manchard is a potential superstar heading into the next Summer Games in Paris. He is likely, of course, the hometown favorite. Okay, well, something happened in my area over the weekend. Get this, fellas. Manchester U kicked off their summer tour of the U.S. right in my home state of New Jersey as they beat rival Arsenal 2-0 at MetLife Stadium on Saturday. Bruno Fernandes marked his appointment as the official team captain with the first half goal followed up by another goal by Jadon Sancho, who was developed the number 9 in Eric Ten Hag's system. Tom Heaton, starring in goal, with Andrea Ona, continues to build up his fitness, making him move from inner, made a good double save from Gabriel Martinelli. Mason Mount started for the United in front of a record crowd of 82,262, the largest to watch a soccer game held in New Jersey. while Declan Rice, Jurian Timber, and Kari Harvest were all named a strong team picked by Arsenal manager Mike Arrieta. Arrieta was not happy with the mistakes that led to both of the United goals by Aaron Ramsdale and then Gabriella. Ramsdale should have saved Fernandez's effort from the penalty area, while Gabriel left Sancho nip in before racing towards the goal and firing a shot in the top corner. Oh boy. This one was over. Okay, moving along. Okay, now for the idiot of the week. Tennessee law enforcement officials on Wednesday arrested Devontae Patrick, a close friend of Grizzlies guard Ja Morant, for a misdemeanor assault for hitting a teenager at Morant's home last summer, an altercation that's ensured Morant and those close to him an ongoing lawsuit. The incident took place at Morant's residence near Memphis on July 26th of last year. In a statement to authorities, Morant admitted to hitting Joshua Holloway in a pickup game, though Morant claimed it was self-defense, arguing that Holloway checked the ball hard in his face. I've heard this, of course. In May of last year, deposition taken as part of the lawsuit by Holloway that accused Morant and Patrick of assault, reckless endangerment, abuse or neglect, and infliction of emotional distress. Okay. Patrick admitted to striking Holloway, but added he did not feel threatened at the time. They struck Holloway in the head area and knocked him to the ground. According to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, arrest warrant last week for Pack that ESPN obtained. Investigators were provided with medical records dated July 27th of 2022 that showed Holloway sustained bodily injury that included a hematoma to the scalp, a sore jaw, and headaches in the area where Pack struck him as the warrant stated. Whoa. Okay, the NHL Players Association director Marty Wall says he's focused on getting NHL players back to the Olympics for 2026 in Milano, Italy. The NHL has not sent players since Sochi in 2014. My focus is to try to make it happen. I am working with Commissioner Gary Bettman, together with the IIHF, and hope that we'll be able to come up with an agreement and move forward. Walsh told ESPN on Tuesday, a lot of players want to play for their home country. They want the best on the best tournament. They want to be a part of it. The NHL participated in 5 straight winter games from 1998 to 2014. The streak ended when the league opted not to send its players in 2018. This was due to a change with the league's agreement with the IOC, also because the overwhelming majority of clubs were opposed to disrupting the 2017-28 season for the South Korean hosted games. Of course.
Before you go on, GZDR4EV on Twitch asks, would you trade Spencer Strider and Acuna for Otani?
Well, like I said, Otani, I think would either would go to the Dodgers or Phillies. So I would say no.
Okay.
One of the most okay for you soccer fans out there. One of the most anticipated U.S. sporting events in recent memory lit up to the hype on Friday night. Lionel Messi, a World Cup champion, scored a game-winning goal as he came off the bench to score his trademark free kick in the second half in stoppage time to give Inter Miami a 2-1 win over Cruz Azuli in a League Cup opener for both teams. It was 9:26 p.m. our time when Messi stopped warming up in front of a sellout crowd, grabbing his pink jersey, and jogged to the halfway line, replacing Benjamin Vermenchi in the 54th minute. Messier's historic touch came in minute 56, but it was his touch in stoppage time was the only one that mattered. When the visitors committed a foul from 25 yards out with 5 seconds left in stoppage time. Everyone knew what could have happened next, and it did. Messi curled, resulting in a free kick to the top corner with his left foot sending the Sauer crowd 21,000 into a fantastic frenzy. It was a very good game for us. We were looking for a match like this and had to give the fans a win, said Messi said. For Miami, it gave the last place team in the MLS a much needed boost in this new era, and Messi mania has begun. I think it's going to take more than Messi to get that team, out of the funk they're in. All right. Hornets forward Miles Bridges apologized earlier in the week for the pain and embarrassment he caused after a domestic violence investigation that kept him out of the league last season. Bridges speaking publicly for the first time since signing a 1-year, $7 million deal to return to the Hornets. He vowed to rebuild relationships and become more active in the community. He pleaded no contest in November to a felony charge stemming from accusations that he assaulted the mother of his children in front of them. Bridges was sentenced to 3 years probation. Bridges said he wanted to apologize to everybody for the pain and embarrassment that he has caused, including his family. This year away, I have used to prioritize by going to therapy and become the best person I can be. Someone my family can be proud of. Following a lengthy investigation, the league handed down a 30-game suspension earlier this offseason, but determined that he would only miss 10 games to start the season after giving credit for 20 games, after sitting at 82 games last season. Yeah. Moving along. The Seattle Kraken extended the contract of head coach Dave Hakstol through the 2025-26 season. The announcement was made on Wednesday. Financial terms were not announced by Hakstol, who was named the finalist for the Jack Adams Coach of the Year award just after the Kraken reached 100 points and their first player of Earth with a 46-28-8 record in only their second season. A far cry from the previous debut season where they only had 19 wins. But then again, it was an expansion team, so not much was to be expected. As a staff, we take pride in the reflection of what we did in our group, Haskell said. It was a great group to work with. We were able to find some belief and rhythm throughout the year. And I think everyone should be able to enjoy it a bit. Hackstall has an overall record of 207 wins, 178 losses, and 56 overtime or shootout losses in 441 games for the Flyers and the Kraken. Even the Flyers. Yuck. Okay, the Nets will have a regular season game in Paris this upcoming season. This will be the third regular season game played in the French capital, and will be played at the Accor Arena on January 11th of 2024. The Nets have played a preseason game in Paris in 2008, but never a regular season game. We are very excited to have an opportunity to play in Paris in 2024, bringing the Nets to the international stage, said a statement by Nets manager Sean Marks. This will be the Cavaliers' third game overseas, but their first in Europe. They played in China in 2007 and Brazil in 2015. Cavaliers president of basketball operations Kobe Altman said we are honored as an organization to be playing in Paris. The opportunity will provide our players, coaches, and families an experience into a different culture and create memories both on and off the court and will last a lifetime. Yeah, how about that? Paris is really gearing up. You got World Cup, you got FIFA, you have the NBA basketball in there, you have the Olympics in 2024. Paris is really shaping up. Okay. The NBA's new CBA released last month ahead of free agency came with the previously undisclosed side layering indicating that Ben Simmons received credit for the year of service for the season, in where he sat out from the Sixers and was traded to the Nets. Sort of sold the situation with ESPN. back on Thursday. Years of service come into play when determining whether players are eligible for maximum contracts of certain sizes, and other benefits. Uh, Counting the 2021-22 season at issue, Simmons had 7 years of service in the NBA. Officials from several teams from the league have argued that Simmons should not receive credit for 2021-22, sources said. And I have to agree with that because he didn't deserve it anyway. All right. Moving forward.
Tied at 2,
The
Blue Jays and
Seahawks.
Dodgers on MLB Network.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of football news has been coming around. Well, don't forget, we are approaching training camp. Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney will miss some practice time with the Chiefs, but should be ready for the start of Week 1 of the regular season. After he aggravated an injury to his knee yesterday, sources told ESPN. Torrey, who underwent an off-season cleanup procedure, was injured when he was fielding a punt before the start of yesterday's practice as the Chiefs began training camp. He has not practiced the first 2 days of camp. Tight end Travis Kelce called Toney electric and full of energy after the practice session, and we miss him already. We'll miss KT, his ability to make a play out of nowhere. We have our fingers crossed and hope to have him back shortly. The Chiefs have rebuilt their strong wide receiving core over the past couple of seasons, after trading Tyreek Hill and lost Juju Smith-Schuster to free agency. Torrey had been the centerpiece of that effort. Last season, the Chiefs traded a couple of draft picks to acquire Toney, who was drafted by the Giants in the first round of 2021. Okay, Torrey was fantastic at times after the trade, but perhaps not more than the fourth quarter in their Super Bowl win over the Eagles. He caught a touchdown pass to give the Chiefs the lead early in the fourth quarter and set up another touchdown thanks to a 65 punt yard return later in the quarter. He has never played a full season due to injuries. He missed 6 games his rookie season, and last season he only played 9 games. So while he's making some efforts, he's still not, still plays injured. The Bills lost a key member of their special teams unit before training camp. Running back Neon Himes suffered a knee injury that is expected to have him out for the entire season and will have knee surgery. Hines was set to go to camp as the Bills' primary punt and kick returner and compete for opportunities at running back with Damian Harris and Lamontis Murray, who were both acquired this offseason. The Bills trade with the Colts for Hines at the deadline last season for running back Zach Moss in what became a 5th-round pick. During last season, Hines was hardly used on offense. He only finished with 13 total touches. Hines had 16 punt returns and 19 kickoff returns in the regular season, 2 of which will be remembered for a long time. Hines returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns against the Patriots in the final game of the regular season, and the first since Damar Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest in the game against the Bengals. We all remember that on that night on January 2nd, don't we, folks? Ugh. The Dodgers are pushing back on a throwing program for their ace pitcher Clayton Kershaw, postponing a bullpen session while saying that he has not had any setbacks with his shoulder. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said on Sunday there was not a timetable as to when Kershaw will be able to throw in the bullpen or face live batters. Over 3 days, the update for Roberts has changed from Kershaw from throwing to hitters to throwing a bullpen session to neither. Kershaw threw. Here we go. threw a flat ground before Sunday's game against the Rangers. The three-time Cy Young winner and 10-time All-Star has not pitched since June 27th because of left shoulder soreness. Roberts said that Kershaw is now 10-4 with a 2.5 ERA, won't make a rehab start before returning to the active roster. Roberts said that Kershaw will throw a bullpen session before facing live batters. Cardinals right-handed pitcher Adam Wainwright is expected to come off the injured list today as the Cardinals took on the D-backs. They probably have already. Wainwright was sent to the injured list on July 5th with irritation in his shoulder. The three-time All-Star could be able to throw around 65 pitches as they are taking on the D-backs as we speak. Wainwright was 11-12 with 32 starts with an ERA of 3.71 last season. That helped the Cardinals win the NL Central, although I kind of reckon on how you did. But his 3-4 with a horrible ERA of 7.66 this season after a series of cortisone injections and bullpen sessions. Wainwright said there is a dramatic difference in his pitches with more life and movement. Speaking before Sunday's game against the Cubs, Chicago manager Oliver Mamarol said this was the best that Adam has pitched all season. Wainwright was charged with 7 runs, 4 earned, 7 hits in 3.5 innings in a 15-2 dumping to the Marlins on July 4th. That was his last start. And yes, 15-2 is a dumping. Okay. Shohei Ohtani's line drive his bat with a sizzling 113 miles per hour, but only a 19-degree launch angle, hugging the ground like an airplane trying to fly below radar as it streaked all the way to the center field fence. I don't know if I ever saw a ball like that except maybe a golf ball, said Angels manager Phil Nevin. I thought he lined up to center. Yeah, line up to center. There's more. I did every game he does something. I did every game he does something to impress you. The Angels and their fans left Sunday's game without knowing whether they'll see their star player in a home uniform on the field as the trade deadline approaches. Ohtani, his 36th home run of the year, the final game for the trade deadline, the final game at home for the trade deadline, and came away with a 7-5 victory over the Pirates. His low drive in the first inning was his 24th in the last 45 games. Only 5 other players have hit more than 24 home runs this season. Ohtani rekindled his power surge from June after the All-Star break with 4 home runs during their 9-game homestand. While his future is uncertain as the Angels head to Detroit, the Angels' recent success seemingly decreases while Angels owner Art Monero decides whether to risk losing Ohtani to free agency this winter. General manager Harry Esiason said the Angels are highly likely to trade Ohtani, or not highly, if they're in playoff contention. The Angels are still in the wild card race, although it currently features 7 teams separated by 6 games for the last 2 spots. Hey, this is getting interesting now. Baseball's newest Hall of Famers, Fred McGriff, the crime dog, Scott Rowan, joined the ranks of immortals yesterday in a manner that marked both players' careers. McGriff and Rowan were inducted to the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, who were often shunned the limelight, were tasked with speaking to a crowd of fans, as well as a national TV crowd, MLB Network, and both made beautiful speeches. This is baseball's highest honor, said McGriff. It's the icing on the cake. My goal was taking into the big leagues. It was a long wait for McGriff, as he had to wait 10 years to be inducted. That's a long wait, folks. Yankees' woes continues as first baseman and outfielder Jake Bauers and outfielder Greg Allen were sent to the have reinstated, actually, Greg Allen and Barris from the 10-day injured list yesterday. The Yankees also optioned infielder and outfielder Franchi Cordero to AAA Scranton ahead of the three-game series against the Royals that ended on Sunday. Bowers was starting in right field on Sunday, starting as leadoff runner and batting at right field. More to continue. He entered yesterday's game with 19 RBIs and 7 home runs and bat .224. Allen had only 1 RBI and 1 home run in 10 games since being traded to the Yankees on May 20th. Bowers has been out since July 6th with left rotator cuff inflammation. Allen has not played since June 2nd with a right hip flexor strain. Oof. Ugly. Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo is, who spent the offseason recovering from a foot injury, passed his training camp physical, sources told ESPN. Garoppolo will now be placed on the unable to perform list and is expected to begin training camp with the rest of his teammates. That according to ESPN. The G-Man, who joined the Raiders on a 3-year, $72.7 million deal in March, signed a waiver and released in place of the physical because of his left foot injury that he suffered in a December 4th game back then as a member of the 49ers. He underwent surgery after signing with the Rangers and had not been able to practice on the field with the Raiders during voluntary OTAs, though he was in the building. His $11.2 million signing bonus was converted into a base salary, giving him a base salary of $22.5 million for the 2023 season, and leading credence into the notion that the Raiders could part ways with him if he did not pass his physical before the season begins. Coach Sean McDaniels said last month that he had no anxiety issues over the quarterback situation over Garoppolo's injury. Sure. East fielder Luis Garrón injured his calf muscle in Game 1 of Saturday's doubleheader against the Red Sox and was placed on the injured list. Infielder Danny Mendick from AAA Syracuse was placed on the roster. Gilrome slid backward as he flipping off Rafael Devers' grounder in the 6th and bounced off his torso. He appeared to have injured himself when he pursued the ball on the outfield fringe, which is pretty dangerous itself. He threw the ball from a sinking position to keep Yoshida at third base. Gilrome limped off the field and was replaced at second base. He was seen wearing a walking boot after the game, and the Mets did win the first game 5-4, but lost the second game. Texas Rangers right fielder Adolis Garcia extended Sunday's loss to the Dodgers after the All-Star was hit on the pinch in his right hand. Garcia, who leads the American League with 80 RBIs, was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning by Bobby Miller in the 4th. After staying in the game and playing defense at the top of the 5th, Garcia was removed for a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 5th. The Rangers were already down 10-3. So it was it looked like a big mountain to climb then. The Rangers did say that X-rays were negative, but was still being evaluated. Garcia is batting at .260 with 24 home runs on the season. Bad.
Matt Chapman just put the Blue Jays in the lead 3-2 in the top of the 8th with a solo home run the other way to right center field.
Wow.
In Los Angeles.
Yes. You never know how a first-time player will do in their first game of their pro career. But for the Brewers' Sal Frelick, it was superb his first time out. Frelick says he thinks he blew it straight out of the water by going 3 for 3, drove in the go-ahead run, and made 2 outstanding catches as the Brewers beat the Braves 4-3 on Sunday. The 2021 first-round pick out of Boston College is the 6th player in the last 25 years to have 3 hits and a game-winning RBI. He also is the first Brewers player to have multiple hits and a game-winning RBI since 1974. It's not an easy win, though Austin Ryan homered for the fifth straight game and gave the Braves a 3-0 lead. Furlick made sure the Brewers would come back to win. Devin Williams preserved the Brewers' lead by working out a bases-loaded jam in the ninth for his 25th save of the year. After learning that he was promoted from AAA Nashville on Friday, Furlick took a flight to Chicago, then drove 80 miles to Milwaukee to arrive for Sunday's game. Luckily, he made it on time. His father, sister, brother, and a few friends were on hand to watch his debut. His mom stayed back at home because she was dog sitting, but would be available for game two. I've never heard that one before. Furlick started off with an infield single, then followed with another single down the left field line for a 2-1 rally in the fifth. He singled home Jesse Walker in the sixth and got the go-ahead run on a sacrifice fly in the eighth. He also made two noteworthy plays in the top of the sixth to stop the Braves from taking the lead. He made a leaping catch off Marcell Ozuna's shot near the top of the right field wall, then raced to the right center field gap and banged against the wall to snare and drive from Orlando Arcia. The Brewers' rally came in the eighth with a double down the left field line against Joe Ramirez. 1 out later, Willie Adams took off from third, while Andrew Monstanterio hit a grounder to Arcia. Arcia tried to retire the lead runner rather than get the easy out at first, but Adams reached third safely when Riley could not handle the throw and was charged with an error. Furlick followed with a sinker to right. Arcia slid across the plate with the go-ahead run as the throw by Acuna Jr. got away from Sean Murphy for the win. What a game. Defensive tackle Chris Jones did not report to the Chiefs training camp as both sides fell far reaching a new deal. Source told ESPN. Jones has a year left in his 4-year, $80 million deal that he signed back in 2020 that made it the ninth highest paid tackle in the league in terms of average salary. Jones did not report to the Chiefs minicamp last month. He is subject to a daily fine of $50,000, according to the current CBA between the league and the Players Association. The Chiefs opened a camp up yesterday at Missouri Western State University. Or in his case, Missouri. Yeah. All right. Sad story here to mention. A freshman football player, Austin P., died over the weekend in a single car crash near the campus in Clarksville. Jeremiah Collins, a defensive back, was driving too fast as he was exiting a highway in his pickup truck. And his pickup truck rolled over several times before coming to a rest in a grassy area, the Metro Nashville Police said in their statement. The police did say there were no signs of impairment at the scene. Collins was transported to a local hospital where he was later pronounced dead. Very sad story on that one. And there's another one where there was this race that was taking place out in Europe. It was kind of like similar to the Tour de France. He was a 17-year-old cyclist, and he died. And that's going to be like the sad story, the worst story of the month. Cardinals catcher Wilson Contreras left Sunday's game against the Cubs with tightness in his right hip. Ugh. Contreras drove in 2 runs against his former team. He hit an RBI double in the 5th and was replaced by Ivan Harinia behind the plate before the Cubs in the 6th. The Cardinals said that Contreras is day-to-day. He is batting .244 with 11 home runs and 40 RBIs in his first season with the Cardinals. He finalized a 5-year, $87.5 million deal in December. Browns wide receiver Marquise Grissom will miss the start of training camp due to blood clots that the team revealed back on Saturday. Gilman began expressing discomfort in his legs and slight shortness of breath during OTAs. In the spring, follow-up tests showed the blood clots in his legs were in his legs and lungs. It is not known if Gooden will rejoin the Browns on the practice field. The Browns signed Goodwin in the offseason. Goodwin has 187 career receptions and was brought in to play a key role in the Browns' receiver rotation. The Browns' first training camp of practice was yesterday in West Virginia. What class? Ugh. Shortstop for the Cubs, Danny Swanson, returned to the lineup after being sidelined with a bruised left heel. Swanson was in the starting lineup against the Cardinals, batting sixth in his first big league game since July 5th. He has 10 home runs with 36 RBIs in 36 games. 93 games, excuse me. Swanson signed a 7-year, $177 million deal with the Cubs in December, played 160 games in 2021 and every game in 2022, his last season in Atlanta. Swanson said he went stir crazy after going on the injured list. Infielder Jason Young was optioned from AAA Iowa to make room on the roster for Swanson. Young has 1 home run and 5 RBIs in 13 games this season for the Cubs. Swanson tested his heel by running the bases. He also been working in batting cages to maintain his timing on his swing. All right. Aaron Rodgers had yet to play his first official game with the Jets, but his future became a big discussion as training camp began on Saturday. Rodgers said it would be a disservice if they only let him play for 1 season, and Coach Robert Saleh said he'd be shocked if Rodgers only played 1 season for the Jets. Oh no, considering his age, I'm not too surprised. Beginning his 19th season in the league, the league has not come out publicly about playing in 2024, but came close in a radio interview before practice. The Jets did a lot for me, said Rodgers, so playing only 1 year would be a disservice, he told ESPN Radio. Now, if it turns out to be a magical year, who knows? It's more than that. It's how my body feels. I've made some changes this offseason when it comes to diet and training. Rodgers wants to see how his body will hold up to the rigors of the season. But the way I feel now, I could play for a number of years. After practice, head coach Robert Saleh was asked about Rodgers' future. I don't want to hold him back into a corner and make him commit to something like that's just what I want him to do. I just want him to let loose as he walks in the building and just enjoy playing the game. Odds are, if you enjoy playing the game, you want to keep playing it. I would not want to pressure him to commit to something like that anyway, but I'd be shocked if he only played 1 year. The Jets acquired Rodgers from the Packers in the offseason. At his introductory news conference back in April, he hinted he wanted to stick around for more than a year. At the time, he knew how much the draft capital it took to complete the trade. The trade package includes a 2023 second-round pick and a conditional second-round pick in 2024. A second-round pick that becomes a first-round pick if Rodgers plays in at least 65% of his snaps. As I just mentioned, Italian cyclist Jacopo Benzo died on Sunday during a crash during a race in Austria. His team said in a statement on Sunday he was just 17. The crash occurred during the first stage of the Junioren Rundfahrt on Sunday. Benzo was flown to the Kepler Clinic in Linz in a rescue helicopter. He later passed as a result of his injuries. Cycling looks safe, but it's not. As a result, the tour was canceled. You would think cycling would be safe, but, it does have some dangers with it. The Nationals and former LSU outfielder Dylan Cruz, this year's number 2 draft pick, agreed to a signing bonus of $9 million, that according to multiple reports. That's the second largest signing bonus in MLB history, right behind his former teammate and top overall draft pick, right-hander Paul Skenes, who signed a $9.2 million deal with the Pirates on Wednesday. Cruz was a top prospect in the draft earlier this month. after he helped LSU win the College World Series.
Max Muncy just hit a monster of a home run to tie the game at 3.
Way to go, Mad Max.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The
he
Dodgers are
batted.
the Dodgers are tied it at 3 in the bottom of the 8th.
Who's the only team that could beat the Dodgers? The Dodgers themselves. He batted 426 with 16 doubles and 18 home runs and 70 RBIs, 94 runs and 71 walks to 46 strikeouts, and 567 on base percentage in 71 games. The winner of the 2023 Golden Spikes Award as a top amateur player, Cruz, was also the two-time SEC Player of the Year. This kid's gonna be great in the majors. Yankee catcher Jose Trevino will need season-ending wrist surgery. Oh boy. He tore reporters while slugger Aaron Judge set to take batting practice as he works his way back from a toe injury. Trevino was placed on the 10-day injured list before Friday's opening game against the Royals. The Yankees recalled catcher Ben Robert from AAA Scranton in a corresponding move. Trevino said he has a torn ligament in his left wrist that has bothered him since spring training. He tried to play through the injury and played 55 games this season. He last played last Monday. As Judge prepares to take batting practice, Yankee manager Aaron Boone said on Friday that the Yankees might be able to give a timeline following his return following this session. Judge tore a ligament in his right toe in a game against the Dodgers on June 3rd after making a spectacular catch that you had to see to believe. New York Giants signed running back James Robertson and wide receiver Cole Beasley. That was announced back on Saturday. The addition of Robertson provides depth at running back and insurance in case of any potential buyout for Saquon Barkley. The Giants and Barkley have been in a stalemate over a long-term deal, with Barkley stating that he might sit out the entire season. Barkley is one of the centerpieces of the offense. The number 2 draft pick in 2018, running for 1,312 yards and 10 touchdowns to go with 57 catches for 338 yards last season. Robertson, who played for the Jets and Jaguars last season, signed a 2-year deal with the Patriots in March, but was released after the first day of minicamp in June. Robinson had his best season as an undrafted free agent in 2020, rushing for 1,070 yards and scoring 10 touchdowns in his debut season with the Jaguars. He was traded to the Jets midseason, but played in 4 games to score 85 yards with 1 touchdown reception. He has 2,262 yards and scored 23 touchdowns. All right. And I think the big news of the week, but no surprise really, as the NFL fined former Commanders owner Dan Snyder $60 million after an investigation conducted that he sexually harassed a team employee and that the team withheld revenue from the NFL. A double whammy indeed. Attorney Mary Jo White, who led the investigation, informed the league's owners of her findings in a special session back on Friday. The news of her findings came at the same time the owners had unanimously voted to sell the Commanders to Josh Harris for just over $6 billion. The finding against Snyder represents 1% of the sale price. In her findings, White called Snyder's lack of cooperation apart from the 1-hour interview he did with the investigators last month, about 17 months after the investigation began. Commissioner Goodell said he was satisfied with the investigation. And all the Commanders fans shouted, "Hallelujah!" Oh boy. All right, maybe not, but you get the idea. I mean, I think the majority of fans were happy to see him go. Georgia is the clear favorite to win the SEC again this season, according to a conference media poll that was released back on Saturday. Alabama received 61% of the votes, and LSU received 31% of the votes, and were the only 2 schools to receive double-digit votes. Not surprised at all.
Jason Hayward with a
Alabama,
double with 2 out.
Alabama was also picked to have LSU to win the Western Division. In the 31 years of the poll history, the media has only got the prediction right 9 times, which goes to prove just because you make a prediction doesn't mean it has a fact.
Correct.
Even Jimmy the Greek's been wrong, people.
You got to
This
back it
is
up with facts, evidence, research, and whatnot.
especially
Statistics.
evidence.
Yeah.
Free agent running back Melvin Gordon, the third, on a 1-year agreement, signed a 1-year. Wait,
Taylor draws a walk.
hmm,
Runners on first and second, 2 out.
yeah. Running back Melvin Gordon signed a 1-year agreement today with the Ravens for $3.1 million. Source on
Chris
ESPN.
Taylor, that is.
Gordon, who was a 3-time Pro Bowler, will enter his 9th season. Played with 5 years with the Chargers and then with the Broncos. He has rushed for 6,462 yards and 55 touchdowns, and caught 309 passes with 14 touchdowns in his best season of 2017.
James Outman is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Last season, he rushed for 318 yards and caught 10 passes, but also had 5 fumbles, and was released in Week 11 after losing to the Raiders. Well, 5 fumbles, man, come on. What you expect?
Right.
The Mets placed outfielder Sterling Marte on the injured list on Saturday due to migraines. The move, shortly announced before Sunday's finale against the White Sox, was retroactive to, and is retroactive to, yesterday. Marte was not in the lineup for the 4-time 5 games, though manager Buck Showalter said Marte is feeling much better. Yeah, but
Wild
migraines are really
pitch.
painful, people.
Wild pitch. Runners on second and third now.
On Wednesday, Marte went to see a specialist and underwent a scan. The Mets did not announce a corresponding move. The Mets also lost infielder Tommy Pham, who left the game with a left groin injury while grounding into a double play in the 3rd inning. Pham was up for 2 when he went out to the field to start the 4th, then jogged back down to the dugout thereafter. Despite tightness in the groin, Pham was hopeful he would not need to go on the injured list. Mm-hmm. Speaking of the injured list, Yankee third baseman Josh Donaldson heads to the 60-day injured list, meaning he won't be available until at least September 14th. At least. Donaldson injured his right calf while running to first base in last week's game against the Rockies and was placed on the 10-day injured list.
A walk
The next
loads the
day, he was diagnosed.
bases. Rojas at bat.
The next day, he was diagnosed with a grade 3 strain. Donaldson, a 3-time All-Star, went on the injured list from April 5th to June 2nd with a strained right hamstring. Yes.
Richards is on the mound for the Blue Jays, getting himself into a bases-loaded 2-out jam with Rojas at bat. He just walked James Outman after throwing a wild pitch. Can't even throw a strike. Miguel Rojas hitting .222. Takes a strike. 0-1.
Okay, I've got 2 idiots of the week. Oh boy.
Oh, 2 more, huh?
Two idiots back to back. Vikings rookie receiver Jordan Addison was cited for speeding and reckless driving after an officer clocked his speed at the ridiculous speed of 140 miles per hour on a freeway just outside of St. Paul, according to the incident report from the Minnesota State Patrol. Addison, who was selected 23rd in this year's draft, was not arrested, but the investigation of the incident is ongoing. In a statement by the Vikings, we are aware of the incident involving Addison, and we are gathering more information and disinformation. According to the police report, a patrol officer was traveling eastbound on Interstate 94 around 3 a.m., where they observed a driver driving a Lamborghini traveling at the ridiculous speed of 145 miles per hour in a 55-mile-per-hour zone. The trooper made a traffic stop and identified Addison as the driver. The Vikings rookie players are due to report to camp yesterday, with returning players to report today, and the first field workout set for Wednesday. Addison, who has missed most of the offseason workout program due to a minor injury, was set to compete for the starting role in the Vikings' three receiver formations. Idiot number two, Niners outfielder Jared Kelnick broke a bone in his left foot after kicking a water cooler in the ninth inning after he struck out in the ninth inning in a loss to the Twins. Apologetic and fighting back tears, he took full responsibility for his reaction. Kelnick, who was just placed on the 10-day injury list, was seen wearing a walking boot after the incident occurred back on Friday. Oh boy.
And Miguel Rojas flies out to right, and this game is still tied at 3 going into the ninth.
I messed up. I let my emotions get the best of me. I feel awful, not just for me, but for my teammates as well. It's on me. They just can't happen. Kelnick is batting .252 with 11 home runs and 46 RBIs in 90 games this season. Manager Scott Service said Kelnick will be out for an extended period of time, as not estimated a timeline. But you had to be pretty stupid to kick a water cooler after that. Stupid. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's gonna be very dumb. And the Giants placed shortstop Brandon Crawford on the 10-day injured list with left knee inflammation. The move was retroactive to last Monday. Crawford dealt with soreness in his knee for most of the season and was hoped that time off around the All-Star break would help alleviate the pain. But Crawford went 1 for 12 in a 3-game series versus the Pirates coming out of the break and started the first 2 games of a 3-game series against the Reds that concluded last week. And if Ohtani can stay at his current pace, what he's doing now, he just might break Aaron Judge's record for most home runs in a single season in the American League. But Judge said it'd be exciting for the game if Ohtani hit number 63 and beyond that. So at least he's not sore about that. Ohtani had a franchise record of 15 home runs in a single month in June and went deep 3 times in his first 5 games since coming out of the break. Judge said the hurdle is more mental than physical. No kidding. And said he also wouldn't be surprised if he hits 100 home runs. That's a little far-fetched. 63, maybe. 70, yeah. 100, I don't think so.
Whoa, yeah, too much.
Yeah.
Evan Phillips takes the mound for the Dodgers. 1-3 record, 2.35 ERA in 40 games, 46 strikeouts. I'll take on Dalton Varsho, the left fielder, 0 for 3. Struck out his last time up in the 6th inning. Continue.
Okay, I got one more bozo here. Oh boy, it's been the year of the bozos. The Cleveland Browns released Perion Winfrey back on Friday after police had listed him as a suspect in an aggravated robbery incident. A spokesperson for the police said that its law department was still processing a report on Winfrey. There were no other details to report at the time. The move comes 3 days after the Browns reported to camp in West Virginia. In an unrelated incident in April, Winfrey was arrested in Harris County, Texas, after being accused of grabbing the hand of a woman he was dating that caused bodily injury, according to court records. The case of misdemeanor assault against him was dropped after Winfrey completed a diversion program, according to court records. Oh yeah, sure.
God almighty.
Yeah. Winfrey and cornerback Greg Newsome II were arrested and were robbed at gunpoint by 6 men who were wearing masks outside a club at around 3:30 a.m. Neither Winfrey or Newsome was injured, but the suspects did steal Newsome's truck. Oh boy. Winfrey was drafted in the 4th round out of Oklahoma in last year's draft. He played in 13 games and recorded 22 tackles. He was suspended in the Browns' second game of the season for undisclosed discipline reasons. Okay, so I'll just check the remaining scores of the late games here. For the World Cup that just have it here as the game, I believe, is concluded. All right, so in that final game, we had Colombia holding off South Korea 2-0 in the final World Cup match of the day, and the other one began in 45 minutes. Oh boy. Top nine, Blue Jays and Dodgers still tied at 3. Runner on first, nobody out. Phillips is pitching. Kirk is at bat. Two of the games have been completed as the Cardinals, the Astros beat the Rangers 10-9. Presley got the win. Speeds got the loss. The Cardinals over the D-backs 10-6. Algaris got the win. Chafin got the loss. And the Pirates over the Padres 8-4. Prester got the win, and Darvish got the loss. Okay, those are my updates. I'll turn it back over to you.
Blue Jays and Dodgers still tied at 3. Kirk at bat with a guy on first and a leadoff single. It's 3-2. Evan Phillips, as I mentioned, is on the mound for the Dodgers. We're going to keep it here. Throw it at first just to keep the runner at close. Now the runner goes, swinging a bouncer foul down the third baseline. Kirk giving Phillips a battle. Evan Phillips a battle. Let me check the. Let me use the MLB at bat the MLB mobile app. Game day. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a tapper slowly towards second. Only one play to first. And Alejandro Kirk moves Dalton Varsho to second on a ground out. A slow ground out to second base. Bo Bichetti will pinch hit for Santiago Espinal for the Toronto Blue Jays. Bo Bichetti is hitting .308 in 99 games, 16 home runs, 53 RBIs, and an .818 on-base plus slugging percentage, OPS for short. He's 0 for his last 17 at bats, 7 strikeouts. Yeah, that's quite a slump there. Bo Bichetti is due in this situation with a man on with Dalton Varsho on second with 1 out in a 3-3 tie game. Evan Phillips on the mound for the Dodgers. So Bo Bichetti steps up to the plate. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson is really lucky for our Lions. Varsho takes his lead from the back at second. First pitch to Bichetti is inside ball for ball 1, 1-0. Dodgers had a chance to break it open in the bottom of the 8th, but Miguel Rojas flied out to right with 2 outs and the bases loaded, and the game still remains tied at 3. Swing and a miss by Bichetti. 1-1 the count. Cardinals score 5 runs in the 9th inning to snap a 3-game skid, beating the Diamondbacks 10-6 at Chase Field. 1-1 swing and a fly ball to right field, not deep at all. Jason Hayward, left-handed, makes the catch. and Varsho has to remain on second base. 2 out. Dodgers 1 out away from getting a chance to win, to break a 3-3 tie to win it. Kevin Kiermaier, though, is up next. 2 for 3, 2 singles and an RBI, 277 average, 5 home runs, and 23 RBIs. Evan Phillips looks back to Varsho on second before delivering his first pitch to Kevin Kiermaier. Braves are going to win the NL East. I guarantee you that. First pitch to Kiermaier. Oh, man. Way too close for comfort, but a hair outside. 1 ball, no strikes to Kevin Kiermaier. Phillips to the stretch. The 1-0. Swung on and popped up left side toward foul ground, and it's going to drop in front of the Dodgers dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kevin Kiermaier. No chance for Tim Taylor to. No chance for Taylor to catch that one. Instead of out number 3, which would not have been a chance to happen anyway, it's 1-1. The 1-1 to Kiermaier, high, 2-1. Blue Jays coming into this game at 55-45. The Dodgers 57-41. Springer's on deck. Phillips to the stretch. The 2-1 to Kiermaier. Bounced up the middle, but fielded cleanly by Rojas. Throw the first perfectly to Freeman. And we go to the bottom of the ninth, still tied at 3. Blue Jays third in the AL Beast Division. The Dodgers leading the NL West, of course. 57-41, 4.5 games ahead of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who as I mentioned, lost to the St. Louis Cardinals 10-6 at Chase Field. The Cardinals, by the way, have to be sellers prior to the deadline, which is again a week away, as mentioned on this headline of the episode 72 of True Sports. Tigers play the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim tomorrow through Thursday. The Los Angeles Angels 51-49. Man, I can't believe I still can't believe they're selling. I need to take a look at the wild card standings. The American League wild card, the Angels are just 3 spots away from the third American League wild card spot, held by the Blue Jays. Who do you know? Blue Jays 55-49, 55-45. The Tampa Bay Rays hold the first AL wildcard spot, 4.5 games ahead of the Blue Jays. And the Houston Astros, second place in the AL wildcard, a game and a half ahead of the Blue Jays, 57-44. The Rays, 61-42.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the bottom of the ninth. Can the Dodgers pull it out against the Blue Jays? Mookie Betts will lead off against Jay Jackson. 9 games, 2-0 record, 0.75 ERA. Must be a dangerous pitcher for the Blue Jays. 11 strikeouts, 2 walks, only 1 home run given up. Opposing batting average 100, sharp. 12 innings flat. Those are all the stats on the screen for Jay Jackson of the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
He was in MLB right now.
Yep, MLB Network. So Mookie Betts steps up to the plate. See what he can bring to the table here. He's 1 for 3 right now going into this at bat. Double walk and a run scored. 278 average, 27 home runs, 67 ribbies. First pitch. Swinging a fly ball to left. One out. One up, one down. That wasn't too deep at all. That wasn't deep at all. Just a few steps forward. Game day. Dalton Varsho makes the catch. Freddie Freeman takes the first pitch low for ball one. Freddie Freeman waits way too long for that 1-0 pitch. Fouled away. Left side, 1-1. The MLB app is ahead of this DirecTV broadcast. But I'm not going to spoil it. The 1-1 is high, 2-1. Freddie Freeman is 1 for 4 with a single in the first inning, but that's been it. 2-1, swung on and fouled off left side again. That pitch looked like it was well outside. Yeah. Could have been ball 3. Could have been one ball away from a walk. Swinging a one-hop liner towards second. Whit Merrifield will throw to Brandon Belt at first. 2 up, 2 down. And Smith is the batter. Will Smith, that is, the catcher. 0 for 4. Grounded out his last time up. 285 average. 13 home runs, 52 RBIs.
Get 0 for 4 here in this game.
Yep.
I'll do it.
First pitch inside corner for strike 1.
Yeah. But you figure, sure. I'll do it. Yeah, you figure though, all that is going to, 0 and 4 for tonight. Ugh.
I know, yeah. I'd bet extra innings here. Swung on, popped up foul, 0-2. Check swing, he went through, strike 3, and we head to the 10th. So, I think we'll call it good. So that's episode 72 of True Sports. We'll be back sometime, probably Thursday night at 11:30. Yeah, Thursday night, 11:30. Until then, for Louis Tenor, I'm Taylor Phillips. Ta-ta.
I forgot one thing. That play, he gone. Sorry, Skip Carey fans.
Or Ken Hawk Harrelson.